What's going on, everybody? It is Wednesday. I'm gonna wait here until some people come on, and then we're gonna get rolling on this topic tonight. While I'm waiting here, I'm gonna take a few sips of this. Oh, Claudine, what's up? How are you doing? And there we go. Christine, how are you doing? I'm not gonna lie, y'all. I'm a little tired today. Leo, what's going on, man? How are you? It's been a long but good day, but I am a little bit tired, so I'm sipping on an energy drink right now because I've got a podcast to get through tonight as well. But it's just one of those days for me that I'm dragging a little bit. But this is gonna be good, guys. This is really gonna be good, and this is clearly a question that a lot of you wanted answered, and that's why we're doing it. So thank you all for coming on. Leo, what's up? Your podcast was just launched today, so I hope you listened to it. Nina, how are you doing? Good to see you on here. All right, guys. So tonight we're gonna talk about basically how do you transition from a full-time job to a concierge practice, or just working more into your practice. I think this can apply to a brick and mortar practice. This can apply, obviously, that's why this group is called the Concierge Physical Therapists. So we're going to talk about how do you transition from one to the other. All right? So, how do you transition? And if you guys, for those of you that are watching right now, the 3 of you that are watching, or the 4 of you that are watching, Amy, how are you doing? How many of you are dealing with this right now, where you have a job right now and you're trying to figure out, how do I make that transition to working more into my practice? Let me know down here if that's something that you're dealing with right now. Danielle, thanks for joining us. What I'm asking is, for those of you watching, can you guys just let me know, is this something that any of you that are currently watching that are currently dealing with how do I transition from my full-time job or even part-time job into my concierge practice? Or how do I transition to working more into my concierge practice? There we go. We're back. Connection available. What? I'm not sure what's going on. Broadcast. Can everybody see me? We should be good. This is we actually have a blizzard going outside right now. So here in Colorado, we've got another one of those. They call it like a bomb cyclone or something like that. So yeah, there's a lot of snow outside right now. So that could be why the broadcast is interrupted, because we've got some pretty good internet. But okay, let's get rolling into this thing. So I guess the 4 of you that are watching, I guess none of you are actually dealing with this. So, but thank you for watching. But if you are, please let me know. If you are dealing with this and this is something that you're trying to convert from going to a job to working more into your practice, then I definitely want to know it. Okay, so Danielle, my full-time job is consuming all my energy lately, and I'm trying to launch my brick and mortar by July. Okay, perfect. So I want to talk about this, and I want to address something first for a lot of you out there that may be trying to make that transition from, that full-time job to to starting your own business, to starting your own practice, to starting your own concierge practice, to starting your own brick and mortar practice, to what you're saying, Danielle. So how do we do this? How do we do this effectively? And I want to tell you all that are watching something specific that you may or may not like, but this is it. It's called No BS Wednesday for a reason, right? There is no perfect transition. Number one. There is no perfect transition whatsoever. Amy, failed fast, now trying to create my niche and move forward. I know your story, Amy, and I definitely respect you for continuing to move forward and just keep pushing forward. But there is no perfect transition. There is no perfect transition from a job to working in your own practice. I haven't talked to a single physical therapist, and I certainly did not experience that in my own personal life. So I want to talk about that, and I want to talk about some of the things that I learned along the process to see if I can help you guys in this area. But I think, I coach physical therapists now. I absolutely love it. I love to see people make a change in their career and in their life. And I think one of the main things that I get asked is how do I make this transition? How do I make it smoothly? And honestly, the brutal truth is there's just not the perfect transition. There's always going to be a little bit of struggle in between the two. There's always going to be a little bit of maybe financial hurt in between the two. There's always going to be a little bit of, I don't know how we're going to do this between the two. I've seen this time and time again, so I don't think that there's really too many exceptions. There may be a person that has this super seamless transition, and it seemed to just come together perfectly and beautifully, but I would tell you 100% that is rare. So, how do we make this transition maybe as little of a struggle as possible? How about we go that way? How do we make this transition as little of a struggle as possible? So let me tell you guys about how I began to transition, and then we can kind of get into some of these things. So let me tell you my story of transitioning to more into my practice. So I was working for a full-time home health company at the time here in Denver. I had started my practice on the side. I had one client that I basically started this practice with, and I started this entire idea with. And I said, okay, I can work with this. This is my one client. This is going to start things for me. I'm already seeing them on the side. I'm already seeing them on a cash pay basis. This is great. I love it. I want to create a full-time business out of that. Okay, so I'm there. I'm working for a full-time company. I'm working as a full-time physical therapist with a home health company. I had 3 PTAs working underneath me, and I was basically doing evaluations, reevals, and discharges, and then my PTAs were doing everything else. So yes, it was one of those home health companies that's run like that, and I've got my own opinions about that. Oh my gosh, talk about OASIS documents, just OASIS document after OASIS document after OASIS document all day long. And so it got to a point, I was about 2 to 3 months into doing that I said, you know what, like I have so much paperwork that I'm bringing home. Like if I ever want to actually grow this thing, I better make some sort of a change, because I'm never going to actually be able to grow this business, working from 8 to 4:30, 8 to 5, seeing patients, coming home, having an hour and a half, 2 hours of documentation. I'm never going to be able to grow this practice. And then furthermore, shoot, I'll never even see my wife. And then also, places aren't even really, some places that maybe I want to go visit to market to, maybe aren't even open until, they may close at 6 o'clock or something like that. So all of these things were going into my head. I was just like, I don't have the time. I don't have the resources. I don't have the ability to take this practice to the next level unless I create more time in my life. So this is what I did. First step, and I'm saying this for a reason, because this is the first step, was I had that conversation with my wife. I told her how absolutely important it was for me to make this switch in order for me to take my business to the next level. Now, some of you out there, you may not have a spouse, right? But I'm just telling you guys my story. But for those of you that do have a spouse, I think this is really, really important. I had that conversation with her, and I said, Shelby, this is something I have to do. I have to do this no doubt about it, like I will live with regret if I don't go all in on trying to create this business of a full-time income for us and our family. I have to do this. What are we going to do? And once she saw that commitment, once she saw that unbelievable kind of fire that I can have about things when I get really pumped up about it, she was like, okay, let's do what we got to do to make this work. And she, she actually transitioned and she found a different full-time job that paid a little bit more because she really didn't care much about her physical therapy job. And she said, you do what you want. So again, it's not like we were doing great financially. I'll tell you guys right now, because I want to preface this. We were doing horrible financially. We were to the point, and I've shared this a few times with people, we were to the point that we were having to put different bills on credit cards per month because we were not able to cover all of our bills with the amount of money that we were bringing in on a monthly basis. And my wife is a physical therapist and I'm a physical therapist, but I wasn't making a ton at the home health company here in Colorado. Colorado, for those of you that don't know, is one of the lowest paying physical therapy states in the entire nation. And so we had moved here. Everything is new and everything is just so much more expensive here than it is in Texas. And we were just simply blown away. We could not cover our bills on a monthly basis. So we were having to dive into our credit cards and putting bills on credit cards just to get past each month. That's how bad of a financial situation it was. So I want to preface it with that. So my wife did find a new job, which paid a little bit extra. That helped things just a little bit. And I told my wife, look, I can't do this anymore. If I'm going to grow this business and I'm actually going to be serious about growing this business, and that's a key part. I'm actually going to be serious about growing this business, and I'm going to use the extra time that I create. If I can create another 15 to 20 hours in my week, I'm going to use that time to put directly towards my business and actually do actionable things to make sure that this freaking thing grows. Because I cannot go to part-time and not utilize that time to create more income, or else my family was simply not going to last here in Colorado. That's just the simple fact. So I told my wife, I had that conversation with my wife, which as a husband, I really didn't want to have, because I didn't want to disappoint her. I didn't want to feel like I wasn't providing for our family. I didn't want to feel like I was letting her down, but I said, look, I can't do the full-time thing. I have to go down to part-time. I have to find a home health company that I can come on PRN. So what I did, and this is a big lesson that I want to share with all of you guys out there, is I went down to a PRN position where they agreed to basically have me work about 15 to 20 hours a week. So I was basically seeing about 15 to 20 patients a week, which was a big change compared to the 30 patients that I was seeing a week in a home health company before. I transitioned to that. That was just enough for us to kind of very slightly get by. And I said, okay, that opens up about 15 hours a week. And now I have the time in my schedule to actually do this. I have less OASIS documents that I have to do when I get home from work. So in all, it really freed up about 20 to 30 hours in my week to really get out there and make a change. And this is what I want you guys to say. This is what I want you guys to get from this is when I do my coaching program, when I have people come through it, there's one specific thing above all else that I'm trying to figure out whenever I get them on a Zoom call with me, and to figure out if they are a good fit for my program. There's one single thing. And that thing is, are we actually trying to make this thing a career, or do we want to just make it a hobby? And one of the things that scares me the most is when people tell me, hey, I'm just going to grow this thing almost as a side hustle, but I want to stay a full-time therapist. I just want to grow this thing on the side, and if it turns into something, then I'll make the transition. But if it doesn't, I'm cool with that. I actually like my position that I'm at. The first thing that comes through my head as soon as I hear that is this person's never going to grow that company. And I'm sorry, guys. And I really, I don't think it's any of you on there, but I've heard this before. And again, this is no BS Wednesday for a reason, guys. So when people tell me, when PTs tell me, hey, I kind of want to just grow this on the side for some extra cash flow, but I don't want it to become a full-time gig, that tells me a few things. It tells me we're not really in it. We're not really in it to win it. We're not really in it to put our time and effort and our energy to grow something. And that tells me one more thing. That tells me that they're completely disrespecting what it takes to grow a business. They're completely devaluing and undervaluing what it takes to grow a business. And so I want you guys to understand that if this is the type of business that you want to grow and you want to make the smoothest transition that you can, obviously my advice would be get everything up and running. Get everything, all the legalities that you need to make in place. Get those in place. Create a marketing strategy. Create a strategy to how you're actually going to find those patients. No,